Alright, picture this. A crazy date, a wild place, and an impossible mission with a twist you won't expect. Sounds intriguing, right? Stick around because I've got some big reveals coming your way. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. If you enjoy the story, leaving a like or comment would be amazing. Your support really means a lot. And like we always say, even if some stories seem the same, they ain't never the same when I'm the one telling them. The movie starts with Emily, a 28-year-old graphic designer waiting for her husband Martin. He's been in prison for 4 long years for financial fraud. Today, he's finally being released. They share a tight, emotional hug as Martin steps out of the prison gates. It's a moment they've both been waiting for. They return home together, and after so much time apart, they finally reconnect in a way they've both longed for. But even with all the passion, something's off. Emily doesn't seem happy. Something inside her is still broken. The next day, Emily sits alone in her car in the parking lot. Then, without warning, she slams her car into the wall. It looks like a suicide attempt at first. She's rushed to the hospital, barely hanging on. The hospital calls in Dr. John Banks, a psychiatrist, to check on her. He's here to figure out if Emily is truly depressed or if this is something darker. If it was a suicide attempt, then everything she's been through might have pushed her to the edge. Emily tells Dr. Banks that she can't stay in the hospital long. Her husband Martin just got out of prison and isn't working yet. Emily is the only one bringing in money right now. She thinks the stress of being the sole provider might be the reason behind her depression. John figures out that Emily didn't crash her car by accident. She did it on purpose, hoping to hurt herself. This revelation hits John hard. Her condition is worse than he thought. He knows she needs real treatment. Still, Emily doesn't want to stay in the hospital. She begs him to let her go and promises to visit his clinic for therapy instead. John agrees, but with a condition. She has to come once a week for therapy. He gives her some meds and lets her go home. Back at work, Emily's stress shows. Her boss and co-workers notice something's wrong. They see how much she's struggling. Emily starts her therapy with Dr. John. As she opens up, she tells him about her past. She talks about moving to New York, working in a bar to make ends meet, and meeting Martin there. At the time, Martin was rich, while Emily was just a regular girl. She also reveals something darker. She's battled depression before. In the past, Dr. Victoria Seaver treated her for it. John, curious about Emily's medical past, decides to meet with Dr. Victoria. She explains that she treated Emily for 9 months after a miscarriage. The loss of the baby had plunged Emily into a deep depression. John tells Victoria about the medications he's given Emily. Victoria suggests trying something new, a popular drug called Ablexa. It's been all over TV, and it's starting to gain a lot of attention. People often go for new things, thinking they'll help, and that can have a good effect on their mind. Victoria explains that she's used Ablexa with many of her patients. She claims it made a real difference, improving their conditions significantly. John's shocked. This is something new to him. At a friend's party, Emily and Martin are trying to have fun, but Emily's battle with her depression becomes too much. She slips into a deep, depressive episode, and everyone at the party notices. Later, at the Metro railway station, Emily experiences another breakdown. This time, the police intervene and save her from hurting herself. One evening, John is sitting with his wife, Dora, when Emily arrives. She's clearly struggling. Her words are filled with hopelessness, and she feels like she has no future. She tells John that the medication he gave her is making her dizzy. She also shares that her colleague, Julia, had the same issue, but when she tried Ablexa, it helped her feel better. John decides to try Ablexa on Emily, but there's a catch. The new medicine has its own set of side effects. John has some serious connections with high-profile people in the FDA, the organization that approves drugs for sale. Before any medicine gets the green light, it has to go through human trials. If it works well, it gets a new drug application NDA certificate, which means it can be sold to the public. One day, a woman from John's network offers him a job. She wants him to run human trials for a new drug, track the effects, and report any side effects. For the job, she offers him a huge salary of $50,000. John can't believe his luck and rushes to tell his wife, Dora. They're both excited. John's about to get very rich, and it's all he's ever wanted. Meanwhile, Emily starts taking the new drug, Ablexa. It's like a light switch turns on in her. She feels more alive and even more connected to Martin. He notices this change too and is relieved. But then, things start to go wrong. Emily begins sleepwalking, even working in her sleep. It's one of the possible side effects of Ablexa. Martin gets worried and talks to John about stopping the medication, but Emily won't hear of it. She insists that Ablexa makes her feel alive again and threatens to switch doctors if anyone tries to stop her. John, hearing this, backs off. He decides to let Emily continue taking Ablexa. Then, one day, as Emily is cutting vegetables with a knife, Martin comes home from a business trip. As he approaches her, something terrible happens. Emily, still sleepwalking, sleepwalking, stabs him in the stomach over and over. She's completely unaware, trapped in a trance-like state. It's clear now, she's not herself. The next day, the police arrive. They take Martin's body and arrest Emily. Tearfully, Emily tells the officers that she had no control over what happened. She was sleepwalking and wasn't in her right mind during the incident. The government lawyer calls John because Emily insists on speaking to him. John explains to the lawyer that he's been treating Emily for depression. He also mentions that she has a history of sleepwalking, which could have played a part in the tragedy. The lawyer then presents two options. Either Emily murdered Martin on purpose, or she's a victim of bad medical treatment. If it turns out that the medication caused Emily to act this way, John could face serious trouble. As her doctor, he prescribed the medicine that led to everything going wrong. John could be held responsible too. John is shaken, his mind racing. He's not sure what to do or how to fix this mess. But the government lets him continue treating Emily while they figure out what happened. John meets with Emily, who is convinced that the Ablexa tablets are to blame. She claims the side effects made her act without realizing it, as if she was out of control. John, unsure of what to do, goes to see Victoria for answers. But when he asks her about Ablexa, Victoria denies ever suggesting it. Meanwhile, Emily's lawyer brings up a case where a woman killed her husband while unconscious and was let off the hook. The lawyer warns John that if Emily keeps blaming the medication, it's only going to make things worse for him. John is feeling the pressure more than ever. Martin's mother goes on a debate show, reading Emily's statement where she accuses John of causing everything with bad treatment. The public hears Emily's side, and the controversy grows. The makers of Ablexa stand their ground, saying their drug is FDA approved and has been used safely by many, but the damage is done. After watching the interview, John realizes just how deep he's in. The media starts following him around, and soon, his other patients begin to lose trust in him. Even the hospital steps in, questioning John's judgment. They suggest that he made a mistake because of stress and being overworked. John's personal life starts falling apart as everything around him starts to unravel. A court case unfolds, where the judge recognizes Emily's depression and the possible side effects of Ablexa. In the end, the court clears Emily of her husband's murder, freeing both her and John from legal trouble. Emily is sent to a psychiatric hospital for treatment, and John continues to oversee her care. But now, John faces a new problem. Ablexa's side effects have caused people to lose trust in the drug, and its sales crash. The blame falls on the woman who approved the medication, the same one who had offered John that $50,000 job. She is furious with him, thinking he's partly to blame as Emily's doctor. She tells John that these events are ruining his reputation as a doctor. As a result, the $50,000 job offer is taken back, leaving John confused and desperate. A friend of John's suggests a dangerous idea. He should tell the court that he and Emily had a relationship, which made her kill her husband. This, he believes, would protect John's reputation as a doctor, bring back Ablexa's good name, and even save his job offer. The idea comes from a past situation when one of John's patients, Allison, became obsessed with him and later took her own life. There was no real relationship, but rumors had spread at the time. John's friend argues that sacrificing his own character might be the only way to save his career. Hesitantly, John agrees to go along with the plan, but as the news spreads, John's life begins to unravel. The media is all over him, and his wife starts to get suspicious. John struggles to convince her that nothing ever happened between him and Allison. One day, while looking into Ablexa, John stumbles upon an article by Victoria. In the article, she reveals that some of her patients had experienced sleepwalking as a side effect of the medication. John is furious. He goes straight to Victoria and asks why she never warned him about these risks. Victoria calmly responds, saying, "All treatments have side effects, but the focus must remain on helping the patient." John starts to feel something isn't right. He begins to wonder if Emily had read the article and planned everything. To find out, John goes to the parking lot where Emily crashed her car. There, he meets a witness who saw the crash. The witness says Emily was wearing her seatbelt, which means it wasn't a suicide attempt. It was more likely a deliberate act. Next, John visits Emily's media office. There, he sees a car advertisement that says wearing a seatbelt during an accident can save lives. He also asks about a girl named Julia, who Emily had mentioned before. Emily said Julia also took Ablexa and felt better, but when John digs deeper, he finds no one named Julia in the office. When he confronts Emily, she admits that Julia wasn't a co-worker. She was someone she knew from a bar 5 years ago. John realizes Emily has been lying, but why would she kill her husband and put her own life at risk? John's friend warns him that Ablexa's reputation has taken a huge hit, and some people in the trading world have made money off its downfall. John checks the trading site and sees that Ablexa's stock has crashed, causing big financial losses. Slowly, John starts to put the pieces of Emily's plan together. To find the truth, John decides to play a clever game. He tells Emily that if she wants to leave the mental hospital, he needs proof she has really recovered. John suggests suggests using a truth serum to make her drowsy, so she'll answer his questions honestly. John sets up a video camera and injects Emily with what he says is a truth serum. As expected, Emily becomes drowsy and answers his questions. She even confirms that she was faking her depression. The twist: John had actually injected her with salt water, not a truth serum. Salt water doesn't make anyone drowsy, so Emily's fake act is exposed. With this new evidence, John goes to a government lawyer and demands that the case be reopened. However, the lawyer explains that under American law, a person cannot be tried again for the same crime once they've been acquitted. He also warns John that reopening the case could ruin both of their careers. It would show John's mistake in not noticing Emily was faking, and it would reveal the lawyer's part in helping her get away with it. Reluctantly, John agrees to drop the matter. But deep down, John is still determined to figure out what Emily's plan really was. John goes to the mental hospital to see Emily and notices Victoria's name on the visitor register. This makes John realize that Victoria is somehow involved in Emily's plan. John decides to confront Victoria, pretending that he knows everything about her scheme. Shocked, Victoria plays her last card. She reveals that she took 7 photos of John and Emily together, making it look like they were having an affair. To back up her story, she even gave Emily lingerie. Victoria then sends these photos to John's wife, which makes her lose trust in him and decide to leave. But John stays calm, unaffected by the situation. Victoria calls John and threatens to release the photos to the media unless he stays quiet. She warns that this would ruin his career as a doctor. John, however, turns the tables. He threatens to expose how Victoria manipulated Ablexa's shares and made millions from its failure. This leaves Victoria panicked and cornered. Meanwhile, John tricks Emily into thinking that Victoria has betrayed her. He carries a suitcase, making Emily believe it holds money from Victoria. Emily, scared that she'll be stuck in the mental hospital forever, decides to team up with John. She finally reveals the full plan. Emily married Martin for money, but his trading mistakes ruined their finances. She learned some tricks from him and later met Victoria, a psychiatrist. Together, they came up with a plan to take down Ablexa. Emily pretended to be depressed, crashing her car on purpose, acting sad at parties, and even faking a suicide attempt to make it look like Ablexa had harmful side effects. The truth? She never took John's prescribed medication. Instead, she took Ablexa so it would appear in her medical records. Victoria took a huge risk, betting that Ablexa's stock would fall, since its price was high at the time. The big twist? Emily staged Martin's death, blaming it on Ablexa's side effects. This caused the stock to crash, and Victoria ended up making millions from the whole scheme. John, now fully aware of the entire scheme, decides to play a double game. He releases Emily from the hospital, but makes sure she has to visit his clinic regularly. Emily meets with Victoria, not knowing that John has set a trap for her. During their meeting, Emily confesses everything, not realizing that the police are listening in through a hidden microphone. Victoria is arrested for manipulating the stock market and being part of the plan to murder Martin. John sends Emily back to the mental hospital, submitting a report that she must stay there for the rest of her life. Finally, John is reunited with his family and returns to his peaceful, happy life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think Emily's next move will be? Let me know.